This episode of The Stack is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. And as mentioned, yes, we're back here with The Stack, our weekly look at all things Dallas Cowboys, all things NFL, all things you talk about in May and June, and you try and get ready for training camp. Joined here by my scouting buddies, Iisha Morrison.
What? I don't. Which one? Which one is?
Which one? Which one? You figure by now you know your cameras.
Which one is it?
It's very.
Is it this one?
Yeah, you're pointing. You're pointing the right
You're
direction.
one.
There you go. Everybody likes 2i.
There we go. Hi, Jim.
And my other scouting buddy and my radio partner on 105.3 The Fan on the G-Bag Nation, Zach Wolchuk. Also love of the Star. There's a lot of things.
We got a lot going on.
A lot going on. Guys, a couple things we're going to get into today. And I do want your take on, we're scouting, we always talk about it's a 24/7 job. But the NCAA might have put us into a situation where we're going to think about a supplemental draft, which is something that we don't normally have. And especially when COVID was going on, the NFL said, nah, we're not doing this supplemental draft stuff. We're not doing that. So now with Brendan Sorsby and the quarterback at Texas Tech, highly coveted player in the transfer portal from Cincinnati. And just a couple of things. I wanted you guys to look at him. We're going to do a little scouting report, kind of give us an idea where you think he might. Again, this is if the rulings and all that go where we have the supplemental draft. We just want to get ahead of this a little bit. So get that scouting report. But I also want to say this too, and this is coming from some of my NFL buddies. They're worried about the supplemental draft because of if they have it and it opens up with Sorsby, that maybe that guys that are sitting in the transfer portal and have nowhere to go now become part of the draft.
Okay.
So the NFL guys are worried like they can handle a Sorsby draft, but maybe there's all these guys that are just hanging out, nowhere to go. And now the NFL is going to have to deal with those guys potentially in the supplemental draft. That's a concern for these guys.
So before we get into the conversation about that, can you explain to the people the supplemental draft, what it is?
Yeah.
Because I don't even think some people are even familiar with that.
No, I mean, you haven't even had a player drafted since Jalen Thompson. You're now Cowboys safety. So it's not even an irrelevant thing. Not every year somebody is even selected.
Yeah, this is, and thank you for allowing me to do that. I just always assume that people know these things and really they might not. And you're right. No, you're cool.
Our listeners might, but some might not.
The supplemental draft is something, it usually has to do with, say, medical hardship, where guys lose eligibility like we're talking about right now. Maybe there's something to do with like I say, the hardship of medical stuff. Maybe they don't. Maybe something happens to them where they lose eligibility for other reasons, or they just they don't meet. They were going to come back for another year, and then all of a sudden they don't. So it's the league's way of making sure they're like, okay, we're going to have this draft. We're going to have a draft, and maybe like I say, it's the hardship, it's medical, it could be something maybe off the field that happened that got the player removed from school. And so now the league has a way of, okay, we're going to give these players an opportunity to go through a draft. And so what we do with the supplemental draft, it's usually held in the summertime. When it was held, it seemed like every year we were doing a supplemental draft when I was in player personnel. But it's an opportunity where these players, they put them in a pool, and then you have the opportunity to actually draft them like a regular draft. But what you do is you put in the request, like we're willing to take this player for a third round. So you're going to say we commit a third round, and this is where we would take the player if available. And so everybody in the league, they just say, or no, we're not going to participate in the draft at all.
Okay.
So the league says, okay, fine. The league office says, fine. These teams are out. These are the only teams that end. And so whoever really is the highest bidder will get the player. So if somebody, and they'll do it in the order, it's not the order of the draft, actually. They weighted a little bit of a different way. So it's not like there's a different way of the way the order is. So
it's like a lottery almost.
It is. It's almost like a lottery.
A little bit, yeah.
And what makes this one so unique is that this is a quarterback. When we talk about Sorsby, he could be a guy that was talking about. The Cowboys actually did use a first-round pick one time on Steve Walsh from Miami. Jimmy Johnson did this. Then they had Troy Aikman, and they used a supplemental first-round pick on Steve Walsh. So there is a history of quarterbacks, wide receivers. There's guys that have been taken in the first round before. And what happens is when you put in, you say, we'll give a 1, you lose your next year's 1. Yeah. So, for example, for the 2027 draft, if the Dallas Cowboys were to play in this and they said, we will give up, we give up our 2, it would be the 2 for 2027 is what it would be. So sometimes the league, like I say, teams say, no, we're not interested, we're out. But it's about a little bit of a bidding. And this particular player, if he gets the supplemental market, this particular player could draw a lot of interest. And there's some teams that are possibly talking about him as a first-round player to give up. Now, we'll get into how we feel, but that's kind of how it works, that the league, teams get in or they're out. And then whoever puts in the order, they have the order, and whatever order, say, for example, the Jets are ahead of the Cowboys and they want a second round, they do second round, Dallas does a second round, the Jets will then get the player is what will happen. Okay. And that's how that works. Or the teams could say, we're not doing anything at all, and then those players immediately become free agents, and then you could sign them like on the street guys, like if you want to. Yeah. Yeah, UFAs.
It sounds like a mixture. It basically sounds like a hybrid of the regular draft and then undrafted free agency.
Yeah.
Because that is what undrafted free agency is. Yeah. It's kind of like the highest bidder type thing. But then, like you said, there is structure to the picks.
Right. There's structure.
It doesn't look the same. And
right.
There's a
you're basically
there's a grade on them.
That's going to be my second round pick. So you go into next year's draft, hey, that's your second round.
Well, the thing about it is when you have a particular player, say Sorsby does make it into the supplemental draft and they have one, and then he is selected, he immediately goes to that team. So he would be there for training camp. There's no waiting around for, oh, wow, we have to. No, if he's picked and boom, he immediately goes onto that team. Mm. So Jerry Jones made a comment the other day about this. They asked him, he says, I don't know much about the player, but I'm all for the supplemental draft. And that, he honestly has to say that though, because you don't want to not give players the right to work. But this one could be a little bit fascinating.
Yeah.
This could be a little fascinating.
This one is.
So with that being said, you got some?
Nothing. Good? I was just laughing in my head. Go ahead.
All right. Let's go with this. Let's just talk about Brendan Sorsby. And he was quarterback at Cincinnati, transfer portal, Texas Tech, signed for a significant amount of money. Zach, I'm going to you first because I think you have tremendous insight at Texas Tech and maybe what they're thinking about this kid.
Yeah, Tech was in love with him. Tech, there was a bidding war. Your school, LSU, got in on that, and it's unfortunate what's happened with him regarding the gambling allegations. And this is why that he is now going to have to probably go into the supplemental draft because right now he's been ruled ineligible by the NCAA. As we're recording this, June 1st is when he is going to end up having another hearing on this. I think Tech felt at first they were going to have a good case to fight this. I think the closer we've gotten to this, I think Tech's kind of realizing the likelihood that Sorsby is able to be reinstated is slim to none. If anything, maybe it's okay, we're going to slap a half-game suspension on you.
6 games?
6 games, yeah.
6 games.
So, and if that were to happen, Tech would take that because Tech right now has a schedule that they could easily navigate. And I say easily, respect to the Big 12, but their roster is still good enough to where really Sorsby was a move to put them over the top. They get shut out against Oregon. Their quarterback play wasn't good enough with Baron Morton. They needed to address that situation. Brendan Sorsby was the top player in the transfer portal and has been a highly productive player at Cincinnati. Transferred from Indiana, which is where he had these gambling allegations from. 31 starts, had 7 starts at Indiana, the last 24 starts the last 2 years at Cincinnati. This is a dude who is dual threat. 45 touchdowns to 12 picks the last 2 years. He's got over 1,000 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns. That's the most among anybody in the Big 12 at quarterback. He ended his Cincinnati career second highest completion percentage in school history. Lake Dallas guy, so he's a local product. He actually had no FBS offers until right before signing day, and then here comes Indiana. It was a bunch of small schools that were looking at him. Abilene Christian University. Indiana ends up being the biggest school to offer him, so he says, oh yeah, I'll sign up. I'll go to Indiana. But I thought what was interesting with him, he kind of reminded me a little bit of a cross between Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield when you watch him play. He is, without question, super athletic. He's tough. But what would frustrate me watching him is there's times where he throws a gorgeous deep ball, but it's just so inconsistent. There's times he puts too much air under it. He does have some touch. Like you can see him layer the football between levels, but there are times where he'll sail it and the ball's underthrown, or he puts too much zip on it, ball's overthrown. You can see him make plays between the hash, outside the hash. I think that he can work well in the zone read, the play action type of offense. I do wonder, is he kind of a one read and go kind of quarterback? I don't know that there's a lot of times you see him really go through the progressions, and that might be because he trusts his legs so much. I'm just going to take off and run. He's got a clean pocket, and he'll bail out of that sometimes to me. But I do think that he's got the arm to make every throw. The athleticism's there. He will look off. I think you can see him kind of look in it, and then boom, he'll pass off, and you can see him throw underneath with the crossing routes. So there's things to like about his game. Right now, for me, this year was going to be huge for him. Going to Texas Tech, playing at a team that had national championship aspirations. I think this was going to be a huge year because he still needs a lot that he has to work on, I think, mechanically, specifically with his footwork. But I would be open to throwing a third-round pick here in this draft. If you wanted a quarterback, I would sacrifice my third-round pick and take a flyer on this kid because I do think a lot of traits are there, and the athleticism is sensational.
Before we get to you, Iisha, let's take a break and we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app, and it's really simple to use. You just pick more or less on a few players' stats, and that is your lineup. You're looking at things like points, yards, strikeouts, and you decide, is that player going more or less than that number? It's available in most states, including Texas, so you can jump in and play. If you're new, download the Prize Picks app, use the code HMA, and when you play your first $5, you get $50 in lineups instantly. And you can follow me along there too at Crown Media. So you can see my picks before the show and ride along with me with what I am playing. All right, we're going with a little futures here on the stack. Going to project a little bit here. We're going to take a look at Dak Prescott, and this is going to be against the New York Giants opening day. Dak Prescott, more than 266 yards passing, and we're going to go the same game. We're going to go with Jackson Dart. We're going to go with more than 209.5 yards passing in that game as well. So those are our picks. Again, that is Prize Picks. Use the code HMA, play $5, and get 50 in lineups. All right, Iisha, what do you got on Sorsby? Your thoughts?
Well, can I pick it back off of his?
Sure, please. Sure.
Well, Zach, a third round in consideration of what people are assuming this next year's quarterback class to be?
Yeah.
You think that highly of him?
I do.
Okay.
I think that he's a guy with a big year at Tech this year, would have played himself into the conversation. If he's able to kind of show more consistency with his accuracy, with the deep ball, because I think you see the touches there. I think his mobility and the fact that he's got the ideal size for the position.
Yes.
Like when I mentioned a Manziel and a Baker, those are shorter quarterbacks. This guy's 6'3". At least the Tech website had him listed 6'3", 235. That would change. We'd get more of an accurate, what is he? Maybe he's 6'2", 225. Sometimes they'll kind of highlight that and raise it a little bit more than it is. But yeah, I think there's a lot to like when you look at some of the traits and the skills that he's got, and he's played at a high level. The questions are some of the bigger games for Cincinnati. What happened there? And I'd have to take a deeper dive into looking at third down, fourth down. I liked him against Nebraska in the season opener. He gave them a chance to win that game late. I thought he really showed a lot of toughness, scrambling, running. You can see him make plays on the move. He can throw from various platforms, arm angles. Like he checks off enough boxes to me where it's like, okay, if I need a quarterback, a lot of this is I'm going to take a flyer. I don't view him right now in the same conversation as a Dante Moore at Oregon, maybe even an Arch Manning at Texas, some of these other quarterbacks that are supposed to come out next year that I do think are expected to go top 10. That's why I'd take it. I think a 3 is fair for him. And I think probably at the end of the day, he'd have been a second-round pick when it was all said. And if he played this year going into next year, I think maybe he'd have been a second-round player.
Yeah, you broke him down well. He's naturally gifted. That's kind of what I took from what you're saying, is that the athletic profile and what he's able to do as a improviser on the fly. I mean, you talked about the mobility. It's kind of a gift and a curse, and this is something you see with a lot of mobile quarterbacks, and that's the bigger conversation. Is he is a guy that needs development as a quarterback. Because you're talking, like, all the things you're describing are on the fly, natural ability. I just know how to make plays, which is awesome. But you're talking about, can you harness that talent and make him and turn him into, a quarterback that's an athlete, not athlete that's quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that the processing speed as well, like you were talking about, you can fool him and disguise it. And sometimes it's funny that you brought up, Zach, the one read thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that the one read thing is just up here, though. I really feel like it's, as you talk about his mechanics, gentlemen that rely so heavily on their mobility, you'll see that. And when you talked about his feet, he got them happy feet.
He does.
He does.
He got the happy
And he can be
feet.
a little flat-footed, too.
And that's what, but it's hard, though, because that's kind of what makes him awesome, though.
Yeah.
Is the improvising and the ability to throw off platform and still have the arm strength too. So I guess what you're saying is, like, could a team might take a chance on them, baby? You better be able to coach.
Yeah.
Because and as you talk about him in consideration to the other quarterbacks next year, I mean, he has a lot of things that you could really throw into an offense. This is a relevant quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Like, to this NFL, he's very relevant. But how does he process? I liked the tape that I watched from him. You guys mentioned the Tech game. He's a gamer. He ain't scared.
Yeah.
But that's bad. It's how he lived his life off the field is how he
and as a quarterback
on the field. He's a bit
concern.
of a risk taker.
I'm going to say this. This is going to sound maybe crazy. I think he's got some Aaron Rodgers to him.
I don't think that's crazy.
But that's not crazy because, like, you're talking about the
kind of the way that I was watching him, the ball handling, the faking, and then the quick, like, I'm faking it and then I'm throwing it sidearm outside. I'm throwing the slant. I think there's some times where maybe the arm talent isn't great, but his ability to read something really quick. And you're right, maybe it's a one read kind of a thing, but I saw that ability, the running aspect is not an Aaron Rodgers. The ball handling is Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I was impressed.
The running is almost like Cam Newton-like.
Yeah.
Because he's so big. And
he's big,
but he has good contact balance too, though.
Yeah, he's like faking it and then he's running.
Yeah.
And he's like running over people.
And he can evade. I mean, he's got some elusiveness in the open field.
I'm like, God, this guy's, and we've seen how many times we've seen Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. He'll look at something and he'll just drop down sidearm and fling it.
Sure. Right.
Or he'll touch it over the top to somebody. I think, or there's times where he'll just kind of, you mentioned layering it, he'll just loop it. He just throws it and it just kind of, it's like the ball's never going to come down, but it does come down. Right with the receiver, right in the receiver's
Which
hand.
bothered me with the long ball sometimes because I'm like, it's high, it's up, too much air under there.
Too much air, and they're waiting on it, and all that. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if somebody took him in the second round.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't. Now the first round, and listen, let me ask you this though, and let's not compare him to Mendoza, okay, in the previous draft. But in the relation of the guys like Nussmeier, LSU, Allard, Penn State, Simpson from Alabama, that crew. Let me see. Am I missing anybody else? Beck, from Miami. Is there anybody? How would you say in this draft he would compare to those guys, Zach?
I think he would have been the second quarterback taken.
I was about to say, like...
Yeah, because he's bigger than Ty Simpson, and I think Ty Simpson, to me, showed more consistent accuracy, but I think that the playmaking ability plus the size, and honestly, maybe a better arm with some of the throws he's able to make. I think Sorsby would have been. I think Sorsby, would have been right behind Mendoza, and I wouldn't have been surprised if some teams, because I think Mendoza is kind of just like does everything right. But when you look at athletically, like Sorsby is better than Mendoza. But he opens up another element of your offense with the RPO game. I mean, they're calling designed runs for Brendan Sorsby. Right. So there might have been some teams that would have taken Sorsby ahead of Mendoza, and that wouldn't have surprised me.
Well, with Nussmeier, I think, as you talked about, I mean, I guess I would want to know more. Can you tell us do you know a little bit more about the tech scheme? Or like
what was Cincinnati?
What's Cincinnati?
What's
the Cincinnati part? Because maybe we should look into what he was being asked to do as well. Because I'm having trouble. I don't want to. Yes, the processing is a little slower, and you can tell that he's still learning to go with what he sees. But with the Nussmeier, in comparison to Nussmeier, I'm like, I think that mechanically he's cleaner than Sorsby is right now, and all of those things. But I'm getting the gist that you guys have I can sense your excitement. Well, it's very gentle, but you're like, you see something in this player.
Well, this is what's interesting.
Different.
Yeah, this is what's interesting, maybe from a Cowboys perspective. Would you go ahead knowing that you have Dak Prescott? What, we got 2 more years with Dak Prescott, or is it 3 years with his contract?
Well, I want to say 3, but I'll look that up.
Can I say something? I mean, as you were talking about him a little bit, Zach, it sounds not exactly the same, but there's Milton stuff in there, and so clearly Dallas is cool with somebody that is that was developmental a bit, that is a scrambler, that you're looking to develop the processing and timing and the awareness in the pocket and all that stuff. So we've already kind of got a feel that they like a similar player to back up this Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I'm not doing this as replace Dak Prescott this year.
Oh, of course not.
I'm thinking about when Dak Prescott's time is up.
So you got 2 more years through 2028.
Okay.
So could they think that they have they could see more than him with Milton right now?
I see more with Sorsby than Milton. Like if I could, and I like Joseph Hoyt, he actually brought this up, and I hadn't even considered. I wonder what you guys think about this. Is there another team out there that still likes Joe Milton? And I mean, we got to sit down with Joe at the Super Bowl. Joe Milton is an awesome guy.
He is an awesome guy.
I loved getting to talk with him. He really, really is. But I don't really think that Joe Milton's an NFL quarterback from what I've seen.
Sure.
I don't. But there is enough there, and it's kind of hitting the lottery with quarterbacks. Maybe another team still looks at him and says, yeah, I'll give you a 5, whatever it might be. So if you decided, if you're the Cowboys and you could say we're putting a 3 in there, maybe somebody else does offer the 2, Brian. To your point, you don't get him.
Right.
But is it worth it for you to say, yeah, I'll gamble with a 3, and then maybe I flip Joe Milton for what I can get for him, and that's an added day 3 pick. I mean, hell, maybe somebody likes him more than that.
And he's a Denton native, isn't he?
Right.
Lake Dallas.
Okay, so Lake Dallas. So maybe some of the scouts here maybe had eyes on him in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's an interesting conversation. Quarterback is something that
it's a lottery ticket, right?
We do need to be considering in this next couple of years in respect to Dak Prescott. I think he's going to have longevity, but let's be honest here.
Could this be Dallas's opportunity And like Jerry throws around 3s and 4s, like, sure, here.
know.
Yeah,
Jonathan Mingo.
it worked out. No, it did work out for Pickens on the 3. But yeah, I mean, he threw a 4 for
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I might be wrong about this. I don't think you get this guy for less than a 2.
You could be. I think you very well probably are right about it.
But if
would
you're
100%
Dallas,
do it for a 3.
if you're Dallas and you got a 3-year plan, does that use a 2 that would give you you don't have a 5th-year option. It basically gives you a year to you have him for 4 years. It gives you a year to try to get an understanding. Would this guy be worth it?
Do they have to do like a combine? Are they going to work these guys out?
He might work this. They might. Yeah,
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah, he's going to. He would if he in fact is, and the NCAA has ruled him ineligible.
Yeah, which will
and
know.
He's going to
June
fight
2nd.
it. He's fighting it.
Right.
But if he in fact is ineligible, and they do the supplemental draft, yeah, they'll have the opportunity to work this guy out.
What would be y'all's concerns though? Like, would there be any concerns in taking a gentleman?
Yes, I mean you've got a guy right now that is. He just went to rehab for a gambling addiction. Now, maybe some of that is is he actually a gambling addict? Yeah. I mean, I'll
well, if he went for the addiction, he probably is.
I would say probably. Some of that also might have been you're the university and you're talking with your lawyers, and this is all part of we're trying to save face, get out in front of this. Yeah. And now part of the court hearing is now look, my client is gone and he's admitted fault. He's trying to seek help for it. Right. He's in recovery. Mm-hmm. All of that is also you got to kind of think the big picture here. I'd have to sit him down. I'd want to see how he does on the board. Yeah. I got to get the mental makeup of him. But I think obviously if you're an NFL team, you're looking at a possible future franchise player, face of my franchise, the most important position in all of sports. I got to make sure I'm not worried about this guy throwing his life away. And now I've got a bookie banging on my door because he's gambling on.
Still gambling, yeah.
Well, that's why
whatever it might be.
Well, that's why I was asking.
Maybe a 2. You did ask that question.
Oh, because that's why I was asking. Hey, we're talking about the kid is talented. He's
no question.
And I'm gonna keep saying naturally gifted because of what you were saying. Right. Is that some guys don't even have the mind to just be like, here, just shovel a pass he does sometimes. Yeah. Guys don't.
He's a quick reactor.
Yeah, not everyone processes the game like that at the quarterback position. So for the fact that he naturally does that, there might be someone that says, if I could harness that, if I could, help him with his mechanics and just get his footwork down in the pocket.
Oh, he's got some happy feet. You're right about it. He bounce on his feet.
He will. But if he could get there, he can coach.
I'd love him to go to Minnesota.
Then he could be awesome. I'm about to throw up.
Kevin O'Connell. I think
just so messy. Did y'all see the dueling interviews?
But those guys, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if both McCarthy and Kyler are gone after this year. I mean, they're also a team that's kind of we'll see how this season goes.
Find a GM there too.
But
maybe Sorsby's a good option for them. The Rams would have been the dream, but they just took Simpson.
Right.
So, I think Dallas makes a lot of sense because he needs to sit. He needs to sit and learn, but he's not ready, I think, to play right away.
And the thing is, go sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I think that he hasn't. I'm interested in the conversation in Dallas bringing him in because he's not similar to Dak, but Dak was a quarterback that was known for his running ability, struggled with accuracy, pocket presence was kind of there, but he was a guy that would get out of there kind of quickly, quicker than you wanted to too. It's a progressive thing. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, with this year and this quarterback class in particular, is this not this would be a good situation for him, no? Because if you have this quarterback class in your brain right now, and you see this guy and you're saying, okay, well, we can get ahead of what
you could get ahead of this guy. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Especially in consideration to how unfortunately weak this class kind of was. Does that give him more value in this particular moment? Because it's fresh on teams that, this quarterback class was not what we expected. Does it make sense? Am I asking?
No, you're right.
I'm trying to word it right.
If to play now,
well,
as a rookie,
yeah.
I'm
not trying to be funny. Some people.
There might be a team that thinks that way, like the Jets.
We're in a quarterback.
Arizona. I mean,
We're
they
in
could
a weird
take
time.
Dak
We're in a
back,
weird
but-
time. There's a team in the
Jets
Cardinals.
had 3 wins.
The Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett is like,
Yeah.
I'm not playing. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the situation
Yeah.
we're in. Aaron Rodgers has leverage. No offense,
Well, I think if
even
you're
though he's
those
Aaron
teams,
Rodgers.
you're probably looking at it to where, do I view Sorsby better than the quarterbacks that are going to be in this upcoming class? Because I think for the Jets, your point of they've loaded up on 3 1s.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clearly.
And you'll have to give up the highest one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I mean, because that could end up being, if you're the Jets, a top 5 pick, top
Okay.
3 pick.
That makes sense.
Right. So what I
But
rather,
you have the player now.
I do have the player now. I think that could be bad for the player if he's forced to end up going to a situation where he's got to play immediately. Maybe not. Maybe that's exactly what he needs. I think that there is just enough raw in his game to where I don't know that he's ready for the NFL level yet.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I agree, but this
But yeah,
unfortunately,
you could think that
quarterback is
way.
in a microwave
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
and so I just want to.
Yeah.
But we got to
No, it's
keep,
not a bad question.
keep an eye on. We got to keep an eye on Brendan Sorsby. We got to see how that all works out. That could be something that Dallas Cowboys. A lot of teams. If you're looking for a quarterback, I have a feeling this one's going to be. If he in fact gets the supplemental draft, you're going to see a lot of teams talk about this guy, just because because of the way he plays. So we shall see. All right, our buddy Daniel Jeremiah, guys, moving the sticks. NFL.com. I think they do ESPN now, right? NFL
Yeah, they're
Network.
together. They're
No,
combined.
he's got a little bit of doing, but Daniel Jeremiah is a friend of the program. He had an interesting. I guess you want to say, like, I'm not going to call it a game, but like a study. And he came out and said to be a championship team, he offered this. You need to have a quarterback, 3 playmakers on offense, 3 offensive linemen, 2 pass rushers, and 3 defensive playmakers. Let's look at the Dallas Cowboys and how they play out when we go through this. We'll discuss it as a group here. And we will start with the quarterback. We're talking about a quarterback potentially, in the supplemental draft, but Dak Prescott is your quarterback for the future here. Do you feel like, though, that he fits in the Daniel Jeremiah, you have to have a quarterback for your team to have success in the Super Bowl? Do you feel like Dak Prescott is that guy?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would
think so.
agree. I would agree. I think you do. We saw last year,
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and I think Dak is
You got more than
Yeah.
enough. You just need.
definitely on par, probably better in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's insane because that's always been the thing with him.
Yep.
I just feel like he needed a few more things around.
You could absolutely win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott.
yeah.
Yes,
You
could.
can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. All right. Do you have 3 offensive playmakers?
I would argue yes, with Pickens, Lamb, and then
Okay, now here comes your discussions.
it is because I know, like our show said, I think Williams is. How many explosive runs? Now, explosive runs are 12 or more yards. How many explosive runs do you think Javonte Williams had last year?
I don't know. I feel like it's more than what we think. Huh?
What would be your initial reaction?
My initial reaction would be 8.
8? 8? Is that a fair?
I would say 8 because that's not his running style.
No, his running
is,
style is not that.
what-
20.
Yeah.
Mother.
Yeah.
He had 20 explosive
Yeah.
runs last year.
I knew the answer, but I was hoping.
Did you look it up? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you trying to play
Because,
me?
Yeah,
because I think Javonte Williams had it. Like I get it. We want more in terms of explosiveness from this run game.
Yeah.
But I think Javonte Williams gave you more explosiveness than people are giving him credit for this
Wow.
offseason.
Are you so okay?
Kind of like
Is-
you should
is
give
it-
Dallas credit for their pass pressures.
Right.
Yeah, right. But you're ultimately you
Yeah.
need to finish.
It's because of how it looks, though.
Yes, it's because
And
we
it's
view
because
him
he
as
also is not a he has like he will be able to like slip through tackles and
Yeah.
stuff, but he's not going to break away from the guy like that,
right.
but he is going to. He might not finish it.
Like he might get fetched, but he's capable of giving you a 30 to 50 yard
unless
run.
it's at the end of the half and
That's
you
like
about
the
to go
Jets.
into the.
Yeah, that 59-yard run, boom. Now, does he get caught? Yeah, he gets caught.
Yeah.
But he's still capable of giving you. It's not just the dirty yards. It's not just 30.
I think it's because of how it looks and where it's happening at, because it's in between the tackles. It's not the exciting.
It's not the sweeps.
Bouncing to the outside, capturing the edge.
Zach said Williams. Iisha, do you have somebody else that you would rather? Would you consider Flanoy your third playmaker?
With respect, he was one of the best wide receivers on third down this year. One of the most efficient.
Jake Ferguson?
Jake Ferguson is kind of. So with this in particular, I'm looking at it how would other teams view this?
I like
What
Williams, by the way. I like the Williams
Oh,
discussion.
I agree. But will other teams think that? Do you think other teams would think that Jake Ferguson is a weapon, or
the run after catch has gone way down?
That's the problem with him. Like, I don't know that I think Jake Ferguson, he can be a weapon. And I think that the touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, I think teams are going to take that all day. But 600 yards, it's like, okay, like I still think Ferg's a good player, but he has lost, and that'll be a big thing coming into this year. Some of that after the catch, being able to make people miss in the open field. He was kind of a guy where it was Witten-esque towards the end of his career, where he makes the catch and then boom, he's on the ground.
is Turpin a weapon? I mean,
No.
I don't want to see him do receiver.
I don't view
things anymore,
Turpin
really.
as an offensive playmaker. I'm sorry.
So we would say Williams over Flanoy or Flanoy over Williams?
I would.
I'm going to go Williams over Flanoy
Based on
right
snaps,
now. And
how
consistency.
much you're on the field.
Right, and consistency. And
Daniel Jeremiah doesn't specifically say your offensive lineman. He doesn't say 2 tackles, 3. He doesn't say that. He just says 3 offensive linemen. Dallas has got that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're 3 inside 3?
Yes.
Yeah, you're inside 3.
Inside 3. Not a problem, right?
Yeah.
No, I think you're good there.
All right, let me ask you this. Of the 5 offensive linemen, still your biggest problem is? Tackle. Which tackle?
Left.
left because I don't know enough yet.
I know what Terrence Steele is.
Right is fine, and if the right tackle gets more opportunities to do some of the stuff that I think he likes to do, running the ball, he can wear. I think coaches are gonna specifically. I think a good coach will see that Terrence Steele is a guy that struggles with some of those bendy guys. Okay, well, how can we utilize his run game? Run game efficiency and wear down on some of these guys so they're not whooping his ass off the line.
Has anybody at tackle played next to a guard in his career so far? 2 guards better than him?
No, that's a great point. I mean, getting a Hall of Famer in Zach Martin and Booker.
And he'll tell you though, if you've ever had the time to talk to Terrence Steele, he will be very frank with you. But I think that's also why he's had at this point the longevity
some success in the run game because
I think he's had the longevity because
Martin,
he had
Booker,
some of the best guys. Yeah. Zach Martin was a hurt guy.
Martin loved him.
He took very good care of his body. Terrence Steele has talked about being able to do that. But to your point, hell yeah, having those good guards next to him has helped him. Yeah.
So offensively, we're in line with the Daniel Jeremiah plan. Mm-hmm. We go defensively. Daniel Jeremiah says you need 2 pass rushers.
Yeah, this is where it gets tough.
No.
Right? Because, Rashawn Gary is a good all-around football player. Are we looking at Rashawn Gary as a what level are we viewing the pass rusher here? Does the pass rusher have to be a guy that's 8 sacks? Or are we looking at a double-digit sack guy? Are we looking at because maybe Gary, Quinnen Williams? Is Quinnen Williams a pass rusher?
Yeah.
Ezeraku? I think Ezeraku is going to be that guy. I'm all in on Donovan Ezeraku. But this is where it's iffy.
I mean, I think it's would it not? Yeah, cool. I don't.
Oh, you were all excited over there.
I am excited because I do. I mean, you have to look at Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. They get interior pressure. They got a lot of interior pressure. Yeah. Is that not? But it's not. Are we factoring? Does it have to be quick pressure?
Yeah,
because that's not going to come from the interior.
I wonder what his definition.
Voch just got me convinced. Voch just got me convinced that Dallas had pressure. And their secondary was so bad that it didn't help them in sacks.
Huh?
I think there's truth to that. I also think they didn't finish. I think Ezra
I agree with you. I agree with you about the finish.
They
part.
just didn't get guys to the ground.
I agree with that a little bit.
And that's
but,
not on the secondary.
but
You got to finish.
It goes back to what we're saying. Yes, they were getting pressure, but it took so long. That's the thing, is that you didn't have any guys that were winning efficiently off the line of scrimmage that it threatened it enough. Like, yes, Quinnen Williams is going to honor, like he's going to warrant a double team and stuff, but it just wasn't enough quickly. Yeah. And that's why teams were able to that's why these quarterbacks were able to get into their drops and get comfortable. So, and the pressure is coming, and that's what you're saying. It's like the pressure was there, but it wasn't at that time. It was already, the play was already developed.
Botch is telling me that all these teams that rush the passer, that when you go for the pressure numbers, Dallas's pressure numbers are very similar to the Philadelphias and people like that.
Yeah, they gotta get the quarterback to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's a big thing.
So are we?
But secondary causes pressure too. Sorry, no, I'm just
no.
You're right. I think that it is a good balance. And their secondary was atrocious.
Yeah.
Specifically the safeties. And let's be real. I mean, they're playing guys like Corey Ballantyne out there, and God knows who else. But
and we getting sidetracked. I'm getting sidetracked.
Like what I want to know, what is Daniel Jeremiah's definite, and maybe we're overthinking this.
For the pass rushers,
what is this like? You need your Von Miller, you need your Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
your Myles. So
you need somebody. I would include Quinnen Williams as a pass rusher.
Okay, well, if we're including Quinnen, I think that they've got a chance to have this. Because I think
wait, you just said the word chance.
Yeah, because right now I don't know that we have that answer. I think Ezraku's got to prove it. I think Rashawn Gary, you could say it's Gary and Quinnen Williams, and I think that they'd solidify this. Malachi Lawrence, maybe he can develop into this guy. But I'm tempering my sack total expectations for Malachi Lawrence because we've seen the rookies don't really,
because we got burned last year on that.
Yeah, and you only had one rookie, and it was James Pierce Jr. have double-digit sacks. So I just want to
coaching matters, maybe
be fair to him.
Yeah. Iisha, you think you got it or not?
Two
think you got the
rushers?
2?
Come on. Nah, you got maybe one and some maybes.
Okay. So we're losing on that one.
That's why you should trade for Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, don't make a scene.
I'm all in on that move.
Messy guy over there.
I'm messy.
Okay. How about this one? By the way, let me ask you this question real quick since we've got pass rushers, and you just give me a quick answer.
Okay.
Is there a chance that Barham is a better pass rusher than Lawrence in his first year?
Oh, no. Go after yourself for that question. No. He's not a better pass rusher than Lawrence. He might be a better blitzer.
I think he'll be a better blitzer.
I think you talk about finishing, pass rush?
I give the edge. I give
finishing.
The edge
He's a good finisher.
I'm about to say I give the edge to Lawrence just because of the toolbox. Like
there you go.
Usage
there you go.
But if you tell Barham to just go get the quarterback, maybe as a blitzer,
he's got some overshown, I think, in his game with that.
Yeah. But I do think he has the natural ability to be a pass rusher is there, which is why I'm surprised that they are. I'm cool with it. I don't know nothing. I'm cool that they're exploring putting him in.
I wouldn't have you on this show if you didn't know nothing.
I don't know nothing. But I'm cool with them attacking, putting him at the mic and letting him hone in on that.
Yeah.
They're probably going to let him blitz from there and do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But don't get it twisted. When you turn on that tape last year, there is pure pass rush ability where he's doing stuff with his hands, and he don't know what he's doing with his hands.
Yeah, you're right.
He's showing his hands. I mean, I'm serious. Like late hands, he's just kind of doing it. So I feel like with coaching, hell yeah, he could rush the passer.
He can, but not better than.
But not better than Malachi
Stop
right now.
it.
Not as a pure pass rusher. He's messy.
I know.
He's messy. I think it's funny.
He's going to keep that in the back of his mind, and then week 6 when Barham's, he's going to be like, well, I told you.
And look at that Barham. He looks like Micah Parsons out there.
Better than Lawrence, huh?
He also got his feelings from Ezraku last year.
I'll tell you what, man. He's
been traumatized a little bit.
I got beat up.
He can't let it go.
I can't let it go, but I love the kid. I really do.
So, but that's a part of this conversation. Sorry.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah, I mean, Ezraku could end up being that answer too.
Yep.
I
Okay.
just can't say it today.
We know.
How about 3 defensive playmakers?
Yeah.
Caleb Downs, Quinnen Williams,
Jalen Thompson.
And
go in the secondary.
Thompson and Downs.
Durant.
I mean, it's so sad because we should be able to just Deron Bland.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. Yeah, I was about to say, but Kobe Durant I hope that he ends up being one of the better free agent pickups. But didn't he let the NFL and turnovers during the playoffs?
During the playoffs, he did. Yes.
Is that not a difference maker.
No, that is
playmaker.
100%. I mean, he picked off Darnold, Caleb Williams. Yes, I mean, I think he had 2 interceptions on Darnold this past year. So absolutely it is. It's sad that Deron Bland, who broke the record for pick sixes in a season not too long ago, and he's not in this category because of health right now, and his play's declined.
I'm worried. I'm worried only because I feel like with this staff and the expectations that we have from Christian Parker being the cornerback, a savant, that if there's a struggle here, then that might really be an indicator.
Yeah.
Because last year, as you looked at, like, there were times, and you gentlemen can tell me, I knew that he was going to have some issues with his feet, but the tripping over his feet was not something I expected. Like, his footwork has typically been clean. So I was like, I'm trying to figure out with him, was this coaching? Obviously, the injury matters, but was this coaching, or is this, because I ain't never seen him just falling over himself and stuff, or can you not plant? Or are you not getting the same get when you want to drive? Now, what he did in tackling in space, you still see he can plant and drive and be physical. So I'm wondering, like I said, I'm gonna keep my eyes on it because Christian Parker's the whisperer. How can they get the best out of him? I hope he comes true to form this year. It'll be huge. Sorry, I was on my box.
No, that's okay.
I'm worried about Deron Bland.
I agree with you.
I felt it when you said, like, we can't say
I know it's
our
tough.
guys.
Like, Bland should be that guy.
Yep.
And he's not anymore.
Wow.
Here's a messy question to finish this thing off. But by the way, the 3 playmakers, yes or no?
Yes. On defense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
your safeties and Quinnen Williams.
So you're going to say yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's your messy question.
My pen.
Is there a chance that Jalen Thompson is the best player in the secondary?
Yeah.
Right now? Yeah.
Or in the season?
There is a chance. Because Caleb Downs is a rookie. Now, I believe he's going to be the best. I've made that very clear. But there is a chance that Jalen Thompson is better. I mean, I think that it's, Jalen Thompson was in Arizona, and unless you've done your homework and really gone back and watched Arizona's defense, Cowboy fans might be like, I don't know how good Jalen Thompson is. This dude can play pretty much anywhere you need him to. Yeah. He is absolutely a playmaker. He very well could be.
Yeah, they definitely have like a wealth of riches, a little bit, like, it's crazy safety.
Could he be the best player on defense?
Yeah. No.
Because you're going to say Quinnen Williams,
Because
right?
of Quinnen. Yes.
The best?
Because of Quinnen. I
Not
still
the
think
best,
Quinnen's that guy.
But maybe the most important.
Yeah, it's possible that he could be.
Because I think he's pivotal to Caleb's development and his getting him into this system. Like, even though we think Caleb's going to take on the mantle right away, we know the green dot. We don't know who the green dot's going to be.
Sure.
But Jalen is going to be huge for him as a veteran and kind of translate into him.
Well, maybe Jalen's the green dot, right?
That's what I'm saying. He might start off as the green dot.
I think you are, and also to allow Caleb to be lined up in a multitude of different ways because of the trust in Jalen Thompson.
That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking at for OTAs is alignments and stuff, because where Caleb is or where Jalen is going to dictate. Like, that's the cool thing about having a weapon and being able to move him around and stuff, but it does change everybody else's feel and stuff. And I want to know, where do they think you're supposed to be at, Malik Cook?
You're on it, 100%.
Speaking of next week, we are going to have the OTAs and those things going on, and we'll have a chance to kind of break this all down.
We going.
And we'll be back next Friday to do that. Thanks to our friends at Prize Picks for being a part of this one. And thanks to my scouting buddy, Iisha Morrison, Zach Wolchuk. If you need anything from us, you usually find it there on crownglobalmedia.com. And like I say, all our clips, all our videos, everything about it. We really appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, all those things. It means the world to us. So again, for my buddies, we'll see you next week with some more questions, some more commentary. But we'll also have an idea. Aisha's going to tell us where all these guys are going to line up when we get to training camp.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the business.
Yeah, there you go. All right, you guys take care.